What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay for real with OGG on XwhyZ Sports Takes, man. Let's go, Z baby. Let's go, man. So what do we got for today, man? I feel like we got to start off with college football, man. Oh my god. Ohio State and Notre Dame. Come on now.
Ohio State? Oh, I thought UT was in. Oh, man.
Come on now.
Sorry about that, Horns. Sorry about that.
I think UT played a good game, though, at the end of the day, man. I think UT played a good. Quinn Ewers, man, he's getting a lot of hate right now, man. I think it's unintentional hate, you know what I'm saying? I think he balled his heart out that game, man. And I hope for the best for him in the I can't lie, in the NFL, man. I hope for the best for him. I hope for the best of that guy, man. You know.
We'll see. I think he's getting more hate than he deserves.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that he went ahead and pulled the trigger and is not going into the portal and he declared for the draft.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Listen up, old head. Come on. Get with the program, man. Get with the program. Yeah.
UT played well for themselves.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with the Ohio State wide receivers.
Yeah.
I think it just basically came down to a couple of defensive players making a play for Ohio State that UT's defensive line didn't necessarily make.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State is the best team in the country.
I think Ohio State, by far, man, they got, on paper, I feel like it's UT and Ohio State on paper. And I feel like, but I think Georgia on paper should have been there too.
Georgia needed a quarterback. So
yeah.
Anybody complaining about a quarterback, I think Georgia had more holes. So let's be honest about Georgia.
The receivers weren't as good, yeah.
Carson Beck is NFL Josh Rosen. He just
NFL Josh Rosen?
NFL Josh Rosen, not even college Josh Rosen. He fell off this year. He fell off. And I understand you've got to have receivers and things like that, but if you're going to be a good quarterback, you have to make okay receivers look good.
Yeah.
Right? That's the reality. You have to make okay receivers look like good receivers. You can't just rely on Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey to carry you.
Yeah.
So, Carson Beck, if he's going to be an NFL quarterback, I think he has a lot more work to do than the Quinn Ewers saying. As a matter of fact, as not being a UT fan, I'm going to jump all over the Quinn Ewers bandwagon, and I hope he has a hell of an NFL career. I hope he proves doubters wrong.
I hope so too, man.
I hope he proves doubters wrong the way Lamar Jackson
proved him wrong, yeah.
Yeah. And granted,
you love a good story, man. You love a good, come up story of, getting hated on and proving them wrong. You always got to root for a guy like that.
Quarterback's the hardest position in all of sports to project.
Yeah.
You can't look at a player and quantify what they have mentally all the time. And what I mean by mentally is how they process information.
Yeah.
So I was watching some on ESPN last night about Shedeur Sanders, and they were talking about what a polarizing player he was. And I was expecting to hear polarizing in the sense of he's a little too brash, he does a little too much flash, things like that.
Yeah.
That's not at all what the polarizing part was. They were basically describing Brock Purdy. So they said, what do NFL scouts like about him? They said he processes information fast. He's an accurate passer. He understands the game. He's overachieved the talent that he had coming into college. And I'm like, so all the things that they're saying are his positives. They are everything that a coach and a team should want from a quarterback.
Yeah.
And they said, well, what are the negatives? he's not an elite athlete. Okay, fine, but he's not a bad athlete.
Not at all.
Like, let's not flip this around and act like I understand he's not the athlete that his dad is. But then again,
who
in the
is?
history of the
Like,
NFL,
how many players are, you know?
it was him and Bo Jackson that were like the two elite athletes that ever played the game. That would be transcendent athletes. And then they said his arm strength isn't, elite. But the reality is it's more than sufficient. So when I heard what NFL evaluators are talking about concern,
Yeah.
You're not building a perfect quarterback every time, but he processes information.
I'm not gonna call bro Brady, but like that way they're describing it, you know what I'm saying? Brady wasn't athletic. Brady didn't have the strongest arm. You know what I mean?
No. Joe Montana didn't have the strongest arm.
Yeah.
A lot of great quarterbacks didn't have the strong. Matter of fact, a lot of the quarterbacks with the strongest arms do the dumbest things because they feel like their arm can bail them out. You know how I've talked about athletic quarterbacks don't develop the mental side sometimes as much as a less athletic quarterback because they're used to using their legs to get themselves out of trouble. Well, if you look at the history of the NFL, these cannon arm quarterbacks, you look at Josh Rosen, you look at Ben Roethlisberger, Brett Favre, guys that just had cannons for arms.
Mm-hmm.
How many dumb throws over their careers, even at the end of their careers, did they make because they trusted that they could throw the football 50 yards downfield into a tight window?
Yeah.
When they had a 12-yard out, that was a guaranteed first down. But they think I can throw into double coverage 50 yards downfield.
Well, today's game, that's what it really is. It's a fast-paced offense with just a lot of deep balls, and it's not really. There's not as much creativity with it in the sense of, I feel like defenses kind of know in formation what you're kind of doing before you do it now. You know what I mean?
But just taking the simple out pattern, take the 8-yard out, take the 8-yard cross.
It's flashy now, man. We in flashy days now. This is our generation's flash. You feel me?
Hey, the game was flashy back in the day. It was. Look at Gary Bradshaw. They just chunked it down the field.
Yeah. We got Lamar. We got Joe Burrow. We got Pat Mahomes. We got Josh Allen. They ain't doing it.
I'm talking about the deep ball, man.
They ain't doing. What? Come on now, man. You're blinded by nostalgia, man. Old head, you're blinded by nostalgia. You are blinded by nostalgia, man.
I don't know which one, man.
Come on. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Hey, everybody out there.
We talking about Flash. No. When we speaking on Flash, it's this generation that's got it. The
generation. You hurt my head.
I hurt your head.
You hurt my head.
Oh my god! All right.
We're gonna have this in the off season. Everybody remind us to have a 70s and 80s quarterback.
Who do you?
Evaluation.
Let us know if you're watching this from YouTube, man. Let us know what part of football you think was the most flashiest. What part generation? I'm telling you right now, this generation right here is one of the flashiest. It's the flashiest. It is. It's the flashiest.
Anybody better than Dan Marino in the 1980s?
Patrick Mahomes.
Might be a quarterback with a better
Pat
arm than
Mahomes.
Dan Marino.
Pat Mahomes. 1-5. 1-5.
He never had a Travis Kelce to throw to, man. He had a defensive coach. Dan Marino did everything that he did as a quarterback.
Patrick Mahomes is Dan Marino if Dan Marino had the team. Am I wrong? And he's an upgraded version.
Man, not that you're upgraded, man.
Hey.
You put him in the game.
Hey, you ever seen this pass? You ever seen that side pass before?
You know who Joe Burrow wished he was? He wishes he was Dan Marino. You know why? Because he'd get rid of the damn ball and never get sacked. Watch some old videos where they talk about.
But what happened to Pat Mahomes? You want to say Joe Burrow? What happened to Pat Mahomes?
Well, I'm talking about because of his bad O-line. Watch some old videos.
Mahomes has had a bad O-line in his career.
And he gets sacked. Nobody got rid of the ball like Dan Marino, man.
Nobody can throw the ball like Mahomes how he does acrobatically, man. Nobody can do it like Mahomes, man.
Okay. You're boring me.
You're
Come
boring
on,
me.
youngster. Come on, youngster.
All right.
This morning, we got to stay on task. But this off season, we're going to have a big breakdown on old versus new.
All right. I'm fine
We're
with
going to
that.
take the gloves off and go hard on that.
All right.
All right?
But let's get back on topic, man. Who's your pick? Ohio State and Notre Dame. Who is your pick?
Oh man, I got Ohio State. I think it's going to be a physical game. I like both coaches. Ohio State, Ryan Day.
You know what? Just so I can start something, I got Notre Dame for the upset.
Man, you and Rudy can just go home. I'm
Man.
going to call you Rudy the rest of the day. All right,
Hey,
Rudy.
and guess what?
Rudy.
And guess what?
Go on, Rudy.
If Ohio State loses, you got to come up on here and say Gen Z is better than Gen X if Ohio State loses. Yeah.
For this week, I'll say for this week they're better. I ain't gonna say it forever.
Nah. If you're confident Ohio State will win,
Man, it's football. You never know.
man.
You never know.
If you're an old gambling man, you'd put all the chips on the table.
Well, I'm not putting that in. I'm not selling my soul. Not selling my soul.
All right, for a week. For the next podcast, you got to say it.
Yes.
Nah, for the month. For February, you got to say it.
For February. All right, I got that. I'll own that.
All right.
Every podcast in the month of February.
Yep.
I'll say Gen X bows down to the zebras. The Z. The Z. You're like the referees. You guys are like I never thought of that till right now.
Hey,
Z.
you know,
Like
they say save the best for last, right? It's the last in the alphabet. Just remember that. Remember that. It's the last in the alphabet. They say the best for the last.
All right. So, we didn't talk much about Notre Dame. We talked about Ohio State and UT. But I got to give props to Penn State. They put up a nice fight. It was a hell of a game, too.
Yeah, no, it was a really good game. I say all around good games that week, man. Much respect to all the teams, man.
Right. Penn State played really well. You can't complain with the Final Four that you had.
Yeah.
You know, I would say the only complaint I would have if I was a team is, and you still got to win the games, but if I'm Oregon, I hate the fact that I had to play Ohio State in the semifinals.
Nah, you're not lying.
I think they got to get that right. Not that I don't know if Ohio State would beat Notre Dame. I don't know if they'd beat Penn State at this point of the year. But I think the fact that everybody knew the most talented team was Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the three most talented teams were Ohio State, Texas, and Oregon. And to have them in the same bracket
Yeah.
was a mistake.
Big mistake.
I
Yeah.
think Notre Dame should. It's hard to say. Like we've got to see what Notre Dame does. But if it's somehow a 17-point win or more by Ohio State, then there's going to be a lot of arguments. I guess it really doesn't matter because if Ohio State wins, they'll have beat Oregon, Texas, and Notre Dame.
Yeah. I mean, they'll have proven they're the best team, regardless.
That'll have been a hell of a run. That'll have been a hell of a run. So,
But I got Notre Dame, you know what I'm saying, with the upset.
all right, well, I've got Ohio State by 10.
I got Notre
And
Dame.
I've got it by a real 10. By the way, I got it by a real 10. I don't have it by a fake 10. What I mean by a fake 10 is the game Ohio State versus Texas really wasn't a 14-point game. It wasn't a 28-14 game. It may have been a 28-14 final score. But everybody watching that game knows down to the last couple minutes it could have gone either way. Like it's rare you have a 2-touchdown victory and you can legitimately say UT could have won the game. They could have gone into overtime and won it. So when I say a 10-point, I think it's going to be a legit 10-point game.
Nah, I think
they're going to carry that lead into the fourth quarter and hold it.
I think they're gonna Notre Dame's gonna win in OT.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. They're gonna win in OT.
All right.
So game winning TD.
So we were going to talk a little bit. Are we going to mention the portal today? What else do we have on that?
We weren't gonna mention the portal. We're gonna talk about the mock draft.
All right.
So how they have Ryan Wilson has Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter, Kelvin Banks Jr., and Mason Graham are the top 5 picks going.
Well, all I gotta say is if you're a team in need of a quarterback, I don't see how you don't take Sanders or Cam Ward.
Who would you take first pick?
Take
Shador? Guess what I'm taking?
Cam Ward.
I'm taking Shador now.
Yeah.
I was really looking into everything Cam Ward, man. I'm taking Shador.
Why? What are you down on Cam Ward about?
I say he is way more athletic and he does have a stronger arm, but then it goes back to what you're saying. I think Shador has a better IQ and football IQ than he does. And I think it'll translate. I mean, I think they both are going to pop off their first season, but I think long term Shador is going to be. I think he's just going to continue to get better. You know what I mean?
I think the guy that should have come back if he had eligibility, that should have come back was Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe doesn't. I don't know what he's thinking. Why is he declaring?
I just don't think he's developed like he should.
Man, I swear to anything, bro. If the Steelers pick him, bro,
we're setting ourselves back.
I'm checked out, man. We can't do it. We can't draft him, man. All this, man.
And I get, I've seen a lot of.
And I see this other dude, this other dude, Chris Trapp, man, that's on here on the NFL mock draft, and he has Jalen Milroe going number 2.
No way.
I mean, I can believe it because it's the Browns. I can believe that. I can believe the Browns doing something like that.
See, I think this could be a draft that you could get quarterbacks finally going maybe in the late second, third round.
Yeah.
That belong in the second. So there's nothing wrong with a quarterback going in the third or fourth round.
Yeah.
I think that was a third round pick or second or third, maybe a third. I have to look that up.
But people are so thirsty to get a quarterback, man. They got to get it right away. That's how the game is now for some reason.
Yes. Well, I get it. The game is absolutely geared toward quarterbacks.
I mean, it is, but, man, like, these quarterbacks just aren't good enough to be taken that early, you know?
They're going way too high. A lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them. And athletic quarterbacks. So I feel like athletic quarterbacks and quarterbacks that are at bigger schools are hard to evaluate. Ohio State quarterbacks are always hard to evaluate because they always have a great offensive line. They have amazing receivers.
No. You know what GMs need to do?
Huh?
You know what GMs need to do? Play fantasy football. They'll learn a couple things about drafting a quarterback too early. Am I wrong?
I think what GMs need to do is really study all the traits. Lamar Jackson, I will be fair to GMs. Lamar Jackson was the exception. He was more of a running quarterback, and he's the exception, not the rule. So he's become a really good quarterback after he got into the NFL. I think a lot of people assumed that he would be what Justin Fields is. The reality is Justin Fields doesn't process reads fast enough and get the ball to the right person and takes off running, and he's just not an elite processor of information.
Yeah.
And
Fortunately, man.
What's his name? Richardson's the same way.
Anthony Richardson.
So you get a lot of elite.
I could see him on a new team next year or the year after. Or this year, I mean. This year or next year, I could see him on a different team.
Who's that?
Anthony Richardson.
Yes, but he has a lot to learn. And they took him so high. And he's a developmental quarterback.
He's a Geno Smith. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Well, there's something wrong with it when it takes 6 or 7 years and you use the second pick in the draft.
No, I'm saying, like, I'm saying like he's a Geno Smith. Like I'm not saying that he should get drafted early. I'm just saying like he probably can still be good after a couple years.
or maybe 4 or 5 years. But the problem is if you take somebody with the number 2 pick in the draft, the expectation is that within a year, if not your rookie year, but your second or third year, you're going to be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
It's different. The way we view Brock Purdy, he's viewed way better. If he would have been the second pick in the draft, you would expect him to carry the 49ers. So there's talk, do the 49ers move off of Brock Purdy? That's a legitimate thought.
What? What?
It's not them, but it's people around the country saying.
Did you hold on? Wait. Did you see people talking about the Steelers should get rid of Mike Tomlin?
I get mad at Mike Tomlin, but when I calm down, I realize you can't do that.
You can't. How many of these fans are so dumb that they think that the Steelers should get rid of Mike Tomlin?
Now, I wish Mike Tomlin would clean house and bring in fresh blood. I feel like his staff has become stale, and it would be nice for him to bring in. Even though I like what Arthur Smith started doing, I don't want to move off of him. I feel like actually he was one of the best hires they had in a while.
Nah, they need to let him really do his thing though.
Well, they got to get away from the fact they're not a power running team.
Not at all. Najee, I'm sorry, you're not our answer. Jalen Warren, take that starting job.
The O-line is not the O-line that let Le'Veon Bell be patient and read holes.
We also don't have Le'Veon Bell.
Well, we don't have a Le'Veon Bell at running back. We don't have the O-line that Le'Veon ran behind.
We don't have Antonio Brown.
We don't have that whole thing.
We don't have Big Ben.
Yes. We have a pouting wide receiver. And I get he's mad because if I was him and I wasn't putting up 1,500 yards with my talent, I'd be frustrated. So I think they need to rein him in. There's no way I would trade Pickens, but I would rein him in, and I would get him the ball, man. Like he's your most dangerous weapon. He needs to have the ball. I mean, he needs to have 10 or 12 targets a game. Every game.
Yeah.
In a variety of ways, not just a deep ball. So, man, we're all over the place today.
I mean,
so let's jump. You want to jump into the NBA or the NFL? Since we're talking NFL,
let's just keep talking NFL, man.
All right, let's talk about the playoffs.
Yeah, we got to talk about that playoff bracket, man.
So let's talk about the matchups. Everybody already knows how
Chiefs gonna win. Texans, Chiefs gonna be Texans. But Bills and Ravens. I got the Ravens, man.
I got the Ravens, man. I got the Ravens.
Ravens got to win that. And then the Lions, Commanders. I still got to take the Lions, man. And then I think the Rams are going to upset the Eagles, though. I think the Rams.
Me and you and I were disagreeing on.
What?
I still got the Eagles in the cold.
I got the Rams.
All right. So we both got the Ravens.
Matt Staff, man. Matt Staff. Come on now.
They're balling right now. If that game.
Matthew Stafford can play in the cold, dude.
And the rest of the team.
Yes.
If the ball is wet. All of the things that make it tough. Cold weather games favor.
Is Jalen Hurts playing, though?
It doesn't matter. Kenny Pickett's might have small hands, but he's a big game. I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right.
Kenny Pickett.
But I think.
Your guy, man. Fake slide Kenny.
But what I was saying, man. I think the Chiefs are gonna win, and then I think the Ravens might. I don't know. Chiefs versus Ravens. I don't even know.
I got the Ravens going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I got Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl.
That's shit. Yeah, I'll take that too.
I got Ravens and Lions.
Imagine it goes back to Chiefs versus Rams.
Oh, imagine, imagine the Lions make it all the way. They get Aiden Hutchinson back for his pass rushing, and all the Ravens do is run the ball all day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They just run a zone read. They're like, you know what?
Who's beating that though? Like, who is really beating that? They like got that down now. Like, they have that zone read down now. Like,
The funniest thing that cracks me up is option football has been around forever. Let's call the zone read what it is. The modern option.
hey,
Option football has been around forever.
this is. I bet you right now that duo is the best option, right there. Can you name a better quarterback running back duo than that?
In the NFL.
Yeah.
No, they never ran the option in the NFL. Option was a thing back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
All right. In general, can you name a duo better than Lamar and Derrick Henry ever?
Probably back in the 80s. Just the way they ran it.
Really?
If you want to talk about option
Bro,
football,
you Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
So I'm a Husker fan, but the Sooners had some hellacious option teams back in the 80s, man. The Sooners had a running back in the 80s, Marcus Dupree.
We're talking about
Man,
1,921 yard Derrick Henry and 915 yard Lamar Jackson rushing.
I'm just telling you about how they ran the option. College football option plays. I don't think there's a more beautiful play than an option play.
4,172 yard Lamar Jackson.
I'm just letting you know. Old school option football, when it was ran to perfection, was a sight.
20 TD rushing combined Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. 41 TD Lamar throwing.
Lamar, man.
4 interceptions
I was
only.
following Lamar in high school, hoping he was going to go to Nebraska before he went to Louisville.
I actually did too. Back in the day when I used to post highlights of football, I posted his I was posting his high school
Lamar
highlights.
Jackson goes to Nebraska, Bo Pelini might still be our head coach. If he signs with Nebraska, Bo Pelini may have continued to be the coach.
Maybe.
Yes. If
But-
Lamar ends up in Nebraska with his what he won
Hey.
in college, probably would have.
I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know because he didn't go.
Hey, is he better than what we got? We could have Joe Burrow too. Is he better than what we got? We could have had Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Did you ever think about that? Nebraska could have had Lamar Jackson and Joe
I'm
Burrow.
happy Joe went to LSU because it was better for his career. It was better. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. So we got our predictions. So let's turn our attention to the last sports topic. It's the league that used to be called the NBA, and I don't know if you saw they're officially going to likely change for 2025-26 the name of the NBA. They're renaming. It's going to be Wemby's World starting the next season.
Okay.
They're officially just going to say that.
You know Curry's still in the league, right?
Yeah, well, that's okay. He's going to be blocking Curry's three-point shot from the free throw line.
That's why he just got dunked on last night, dude.
That's all right. See what he did? See what he
Nah,
did?
I ain't gonna lie. He did have 8 blocks though. He did have 8 blocks. He had 8 blocks that game. I can't even talk. He had 8
We
blocks.
got to develop a team around him. So,
But
and I like Ja. I love Ja. But I ain't counting it as a dunk if your hand doesn't pull the rim down. That's my rule.
okay.
I didn't love it with in the dunk contest with Dwight Howard. I didn't love it with Blake Griffin. When I see a dunk, I don't want to see him throwing the ball through the hoop above it. I want to see them ripping the rim down like Shaq. I want to see him Rain Man. I want to see Vince Carter with his elbow in the rim. I want some force on the rim.
Yeah.
I want to see the whole standard shake. That's my rule.
All right.
And I love John. And and John's got to quit lying that he ain't dunk no more. What you got to say is I'm not going to dunk much.
Yeah.
But that's in his DNA, man. He can't help himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I think we should, talk about this season. Do you think the Grizzlies? Do you think the Grizzlies can make a good run with the playoffs?
I think so, man. Uh, I love that roster. They still have Marcus Smart that can come back and give him some bench minutes when he comes
I mean,
back.
they're heating up, man. They are heating.
The biggest thing I think for them is to see once G.G. Jackson comes back is he going to play? Is he going to be an issue with their rotation? Like they'll have to figure out their whole rotation. But that roster, you have a stretch four in Jaren Jackson. You have a bunch of big. Zach Edey is playing way better than anybody would have thought.
Yeah.
All the analysts were dogging his lack of mobility. He's not a modern center.
Man,
he doesn't have to be great. You don't need scoring out of him. And the reality is, everybody
not at
else
all.
can shoot. When you have a four like Jackson that can shoot that way, and every other big is mobile, he doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
So that roster is loaded.
That roster's loaded. I think, man, OKC, man. OKC and Cleveland, man. Those rosters are going off. Like,
yes, and OKC's doing this right now.
Without Chet.
Yes.
No Chet. I think,
he changes their entire
early prediction, man, I got OKC winning it.
Win it all?
I got OKC winning it, man. I don't see a team. I see one team that can compete, and that's Memphis. I think the Rockets are too young.
The Rockets are too young.
I think Denver doesn't have enough depth. The Clippers are the Clippers. The Lakers are the Lakers. Dallas, maybe. Minnesota hasn't gotten it together yet. Sacramento. And the Warriors are the Warriors.
I don't think any team matches up well enough.
Especially if they have Chet back, who's playing them? There's only one team that can compete with them, and they don't have enough players yet. That's the Spurs. That's the only team that you can say Wemby and Chet and Castle and Shy, because they're both like the Castle's literally Walmart Shy. Yeah, he's Walmart Shy right now, and Chet's Walmart Wemby. So it's like flipped, you know what I'm saying? So they're the same team damn near. They're about to be the same team in a couple years, you know what I mean? And nobody's gonna be able to keep up with either of those teams.
I'd like to see Cleveland win it. And I'd like to see a Manila postcard LeBron saying wish you were here.
Like Trav, bro, come on now. Wish you were here is crazy. Hey. That boy said wish you were here like Trav, bro. Come on, bro.
Send him a postcard, wish you were here.
That's crazy.
Oh, man.
But hey, yeah, man. I think if Cleveland wins it, man, that would be. With LeBron still.
The Celtics right now. What's their deal?
I mean, do they really gotta like? I think they're just trying to stay healthy.
They just coast into the playoffs?
I think they're just gonna coast to the playoffs. Try to stay healthy.
I think their window issue is going to be Al Horford. Because I don't think people realize how important all the timely shots he's hit in his career.
Yeah.
And as a Warriors fan, you can appreciate when you have those runs and you have that old vet that hits those shots.
You're not lying.
That old vet, you're thinking, oh, he only averaged 12 or 14 points a game. But all of a sudden, when you have some random dude that can't do it anymore, and now instead of winning by 4, you lose by 2.
Yeah.
You know, that's what most people don't realize is they take for granted a 12 or 14 point a game guy because of his efficiency. And now he's gone, and it's not just the points.
Yeah.
It's the timely rebound, the timely pass, the pick that they'll set that a younger person doesn't understand to pick, that when it needs to happen.
Yeah.
I think their window issue is just like Denver needing depth.
Yeah, they gonna start.
Al Horford, I don't know if he's going to play another year or what's going to happen with him, but they're going to, when he goes,
Drew Holiday's getting old too.
huh?
Drew Holiday's getting old too.
Drew Holiday's getting old too, yes. But he's still balling. But
Yeah.
His athleticism is needed, right? So
His defense, man.
Yes. Well, that's right. When I was saying his athleticism, because he
Yeah.
can guard. They have him guarding 1 through 5. There's games they have him on like a 6'10" center, which is crazy. And he doesn't blink an eye. So,
But yeah, man.
so we'll see tomorrow night what Memphis and the Spurs do when Wemby doesn't come back, right?
Yeah.
See if Wemby has something for.
We'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see if Wemby can do his thing, man. I mean, he did his thing already. He did have 8 blocks. I want to see Castle do something too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But hey,
All right, man. Well, I think that's a good one.
I think it's a good little segment, man. Hey.